today. Look at this beautiful, the stories we hold in our hearts, things that we go through, the little us, the little Marie-Josee, the little one of you. Everything that you've been through determines who you are, everybody. So you're really going to love this conversation that I am about to have with a returning amazing sponsor of Women's Spirit Festival, Marie-Josee Pacito. I'm so excited to have you here. Just thank you again for coming and sharing your wisdom and your gifts and your heart with Women's Spirit Festival. I always love having you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for hosting this amazing group.
Yeah, we love to build this community up. So, ladies, if you don't know Marie-Josee yet, let me introduce her. She's a story coach, speaker, and writer, and she explores the hidden stories we carry and helps strong, independent, like many of you, women see how the meanings they attach to their past experiences shape their lives. This is so cool. We're gonna have such a great conversation. Marie-Josee, her personal experience with shame, depression, and anger has helped her draw from and reflect on human behavior and question long-held assumptions to discover a more compassionate way of relating to herself and others through shared stories. There's so much healing in our stories, and something I know about her work is that she brings so much heart and so much depth to this work. So, everybody, I'm so excited to introduce you to Marie-Josee Pacito. You can look her up on our group here. You can search her name and find out her talks and all of the beautiful things. But it's one thing for me to tell everybody about your background. Why don't we just dive right in and have you tell everybody, how did you come to do this work that you're doing now?
Well, thank you. How I came upon it, I think it's a long, curvy road. So last time I was talking about the power of discomfort and the butterfly, how it's not a straight linear line the way the butterfly flies, and we tend to think we want a goal and it's going to be just shooting straight, but there's actually this curve to it, which is definitely how my life has been. And then the butterfly, how it actually has to turn to goo inside the chrysalis, and then it needs the pressure coming out to form the wings. And usually we're afraid of our story, we're afraid of that pressure, we're afraid of what we're going through. We don't
Mhm.
want to share it, likely because people around us were uncomfortable with it,
Yeah.
told us to be quiet. But basically, we all have a story that we're carrying, and we know it, we feel it, but because of external pressures or other pressures, we're not letting it out. And really, your story is your medicine, and it's somebody else's too, because somebody else is going through exactly what you've been through, like probably not the exact details, but the exact, like this same experience in their body, the same like shame, guilt, anger, whatever, however it manifests for you, somebody else is going through it. And when you share it, it gives them permission to share it, and it creates that ripple effect that reaches everyone.
I like that you say your story is your medicine. Like it is truly so healing when women can walk a path of moving out of isolation and come into sharing and being with each other. And I like that you said it can be somebody else's medicine too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bringing us back into that place where we don't have to isolate or try to walk through the challenges alone. Maybe we learned that as kids, right? Like these are some of the things that you weave into your work. We learned how to do it, but it doesn't
Yes.
mean it fits for our life anymore. Can you talk about that a little more?
Yeah, so I think because we're disappointed in some way, and it has nothing to do with our upbringing, because some people will say, like, I had amazing parents, I had an amazing childhood, and it doesn't really matter if you had amazing parents, amazing childhood or not. We're all gonna be disappointed. We're all gonna be carrying something forward
Yeah.
that then tells us we can only rely on ourselves, which is actually um, my next talk is the cost of the cost of being strong. So many women will, and it's a confidence thing, like, I'm strong and I'm independent and I can do it all on my own.
Mhm.
But silently, there's a cost to that too.
And social media shows us like just put on your best face or your everything that's
Hmm.
good happening. And our world really raised us to be like that. Like, oh, we keep calm and carry on.
Yes.
But it's
Yeah. And yeah, we get positive like affirmation reinforcement from other people when we are strong and we are doing it all on our own, and other people, they rely on us, and we build this whole ecosystem of a story about we need to, and other people are depending on us. And really, the cost to us is that we're not being seen.
Yeah.
Like we're making our story not matter. We don't treat ourselves the way we would treat a good friend.
So true. And then we're living a life that isn't necessarily in truth and in alignment because we're living like a store, like something that isn't real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the truth. It's funny because I recently heard the biggest evil is half truths. So often, like our story is a half truth. Like we're living, part of our story is true, but part of it is suppressed, is hidden. And
Whoa.
that is like the biggest disservice we do to ourselves and other people.
Yeah. Living half truths. That's like, can somebody write that in the chat for us? Because that just stopped me in my tracks is living half truths. And when we
Yeah,
say, somebody's like, how are you? I'm fine. That's not a full truth.
exactly.
Yeah. Or like, what was this experience like for you? And it's just brushed over. It's like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yes.
But
Like
when
there's
it,
a part of me that is fine, is true. Like there's a part of me that can hold this and keep going, but there's also a part of me that is tired and wants to be seen too.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so you help women walk through the processes of finding their story and their voices. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. So often we think, I mean, we all have limiting beliefs, right? And we know the limiting beliefs is what disempowers us, but what we don't realize is that every belief is disempowering to some degree. So even the belief
Every
of,
belief is
yes,
disempowering.
every
Okay.
belief, any belief that you have, it doesn't, so you think, there's the obvious limiting beliefs, but then there's beliefs like I'm strong, say, seems like an empowering belief, but it also limits you in some way.
Wow.
So um, for me, it's just allowing women to trust themselves. Usually that's stored in your body, that wisdom, because we will reason it out with our mind that, of course I understand this, like logically in my mind, this makes sense. And I shouldn't feel this way. Logically in my mind, I know it's not like that. And we reason things out and we think it's positive affirmation, positive reinforcement. We think it's positive, but the truth that lives inside our body tells a different story.
Ooh.
So I help women access that part inside their body to just trusting the wisdom that wants to emerge. So often through writing, we censor ourselves, like we judge what we're writing.
Yeah.
But if you allow it, often there's wisdom in it. There's always lines. So I encourage women to highlight after the writing lines that surprise them, that it
Mm.
feels like I don't know where that came from. And there's always some women that um like are really blown away. Like, really it brings huge relief, huge emotions because they didn't think that was in them to write, like because they had that belief going in, I'm a writer or I've written my story before, I've written a book, so I don't see how, this will change anything. But the practices that I do, like really bring you in your body, trusting what wants to be expressed and not censoring it.
Mm.
And there's always, amazing things that happen.
And it's so healing. And it's not what you think you should write, but it what wants to be expressed from your
Yes.
body. That is so powerful.
Yes. That's the big distinction is you're not coming in with a preconceived notion of how it's supposed to be, because often that's what we think, like, oh, I know what I'm going to write on. And at the beginning of my sessions, it's always, we're going to leave that at the door, at the way
Mm.
you think it should be, the way that society told you it should be, the way you've been doing it so far, all those things, everything is going in a duffel bag by the door. And the reason for the duffel bag is because we want to hold on. Like, I don't want to let this go. It's the way that I've survived. It's so, it's what got me here, but
Yeah.
it's like it's in a duffel bag so you can pick it right back up after. But for now, we're just going to leave it in there so that we're free to allow whatever is coming up to come
Oh,
up.
that's so beautiful. Like a clean slate, just letting it come
Clean
through.
slate.
I like
Yes.
this so much. Now, you work with professionals and authors, but you also work with women who are just like, I think that maybe writing my story down for my family or for just like getting it out of my heart. Is that,
Yes.
you work with
Oh,
them too?
yes, absolutely. Like there's women who are not necessarily in business for themselves, but they've been carrying a
And they're not
story.
authors, but they have a story.
Yeah, they've just something they haven't been able to share. I often get women that tell me they've never shared this with anyone and they feel safe enough to share it with me. But they have a story and they're not sure how it's going to come across to their family, or because there's still people, we love and we care about in our immediate circle, that we're worried what they're going to think if we were to publish that story, if they were to see it,
Yeah.
what happens. But there's always a way of writing that sort of lessons. So, because when you're writing your story, it's never about, they did this to me. It's not judgment. There's a way that you can say, this is what it felt like. This is how I received it. That isn't critical or
Yeah.
judgmental of other people. So at first, though, you want to write, like you want to write it however it comes out. So
Just let it
the
flow.
first, yeah, the first draft may be all judgment and criticism. If that's what you need, like you need to do it, of course, that's welcome. But as you go through the process, there's a softening that you start to see, like you take ownership. And to me, it's the whole hero's journey, because often when we start writing, we feel like we're the victim. That's why we want to tell the story, because we feel like it happened to us. But I find in the process of writing, you start to see how you're actually the hero of your journey. And by the end, you're empowered by your story instead of being the victim. So you see how you actually were the hero all along,
Oh,
which is
you see how
something
you're the
phenomenal.
hero all along. I love that so much.
Yes.
Somebody write hero in the chat right now if you're like, if you're willing to step into knowing that you were the hero all along. Personally, I'll vouch for what Marie-Josee is saying, because when I started to share my story, it was probably about 8 years ago or so that I started to share my story that I'd burnt out. And I
Mhm.
suffered from that burnout about 15 to 20 years ago. And I was so ashamed of it. I
Mhm.
was so thinking like, who would want to hear this? And then also like, if people know this about me, they won't like they won't like me anymore. Like there's so many stories that got made up. But as soon as I started to share it, it started to heal me. Like the first time I wrote it out and read it, I just bawled the whole time. And then every time that I did it, I would cry just a little bit less and feel a little more empowered. And then
Mhm.
eventually I realized that the telling of my story healed me on so
Yeah,
many levels. And then women would come to me and they'd be like, thank you for sharing that. And I would have like at least 50% of the women in the room, most of the time it was more like
absolutely.
80% saying me too.
Me too.
So
Absolutely. We
yeah,
totally relate. And that's the thing about your story. When you first start sharing it, you don't see that it's what you needed to survive. So like you only see the burnout, like you see the quote unquote failure, but the burnout was a result of you doing what you needed to do to survive based on the information and the environment that you were in. And then
exactly.
that burnout opened new doors. Like
Totally.
you started to see things you didn't see before. So
Yes.
it's like totally a
And it led me
hero's
to where
journey.
I am at now. Like that's part
Yes.
of the story, right? It leads us to now I have a business where I work like 3.5 days a week and I take a week off every month and I do events like this because it feels so nourishing and incredible.
Yes.
So it's like, right, I wouldn't have what I have now if I didn't have that. Thanks for making that connection.
Yeah, it's a complete renewing. And that's the thing to realize. Everything is always in constant change, always renewing, just like seasons. There's a winter and there's a summer. And as long as you kind of know where you are, you allow, I'm in the winter right now. So it's okay to, to chill, to relax, like to let things settle. And then in the summer, now you're in productive mode. This is normal that I'm going, but to not be always expecting that we're in summer.
Right? To be with where we're actually at. And you said
Yeah.
renewing, and I realized there is a big butterfly and multiple butterflies right on the wall behind you.
Yes.
The elephant's one
Oh,
of my favorite symbols. Other side. There it is. And
oh yes.
it's a renewing process. Like the butterfly has to turn into that soggy, gooey mess, like you said, and it has to have the pressure in order to become what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to live through what we've lived through in order to become what we are. And I like when I introduced you, it was about how we see the meanings we attach to past experiences. So it's like a perspective shift. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah. I mean, in any given situation, we attach meaning, and it's the best possible meaning or interpretation that we could possibly conceive in that moment, given the information that we have. And
Right.
often, after the fact is when we're like shaming or guilting, or other people are shaming or guilting.
Like you
But
said, it's what got us through.
Yes, but exactly. It's what got you through. Like if you realize I have the information now from that moment, but I didn't have it in that moment. I hadn't experienced that moment yet. So it
Right.
was the best that I had in that moment. And you can't shame or guilt someone for the very best that they had in any given moment. And then every moment you get to say, oh, now I see what that decision creates. I can choose again and I can
Mm,
choose again and I can keep choosing until it feels aligned.
yeah. Oh, it's an empowered standpoint. Keep choosing until it feels aligned. Somebody write that in the chat as well, because sometimes women come to a point in their lives and they feel stuck by their choices. But what you
Mhm.
just said, keep choosing until
Keep
it feels
choosing.
aligned. Keep
Yes.
evolving.
You
Yeah.
always get to choose again every moment.
Yeah, that's really, really beautiful. Now you have some talks that are happening inside Women's Spirit Festival. So, ladies, if you're watching this and you're like, this woman is incredible, I want to go deeper with her, you absolutely can by following the teachings that she's bringing. Tell everybody about that.
So I've shared two so far. The first one is forgiveness is not what you think. So this is my story of forgiveness with my mom, and it's forgiveness is not what you think. I came to a new revelation. And then the talk number two, I share the brave voice. So I'm doing a compilation book, but the writing experience. So I share a little bit of that writing experience. So you actually experience it in 20 minutes, um, what it is that you would experience in the bigger container. Obviously, there's more than in the 20 minutes. And then my next talk, which is I think on Saturday, it's later this week, is the ripple effect. So just of sharing your story and how we just discussed how it's first it's your medicine and then it becomes the medicine that other people need
Mm.
because they're where you were. And so we create that ripple effect by sharing that we're always helping the next generation or the next people find their way through because you found your way through.
Oh, I love that. I like calling it the ripple of impact, the true ROI, like that
Oh,
ripple of
wow.
impact that you have, because then
Yes.
somebody else will be sparked to share their story or be more kind or all the things, just like on your poster, be kind. So,
Yes.
yeah, ripple of impact. I like
I know.
that.
If you can be anything, be kind.
Hmm. Everybody, all you have to do is type into the little search bar above. There's a little magnifying glass. Type in Marie-Josee Pacito, Pacitto, right?
Yes.
So type in her name. Well, when you type in Marie-Josee, it'll come up because I think she's probably the only one of her.
Yes.
And her talks will come up and you can connect with her. Friend request, follow her, send her a DM, like actually get in communication with Marie-Josee because she has so much incredible wisdom to offer. What do you love most about the work that you do with women?
I would say the moment when they notice that they have something inside them that they didn't realize was there and the impact, like the empowerment of that for other women.
Yeah,
Usually that's what kind of breaks us open is like, whoa, this is huge. Like this would help other people so much.
yeah. And you came by this really honestly. Like when I introduced you, it was part of the introduction was
Yes.
talking about how you went through shame, depression, and anger yourself. So, are you willing to share a little bit of your story and what you went through and the wisdom that you brought back of your hero's journey?
Yes, absolutely. So, I was raised by a mom, a teenage mom. My dad left when I was born, and she didn't have the tools or resources to raise me. And what she didn't know is that we've been carrying a story of women are not equal to men, or they're not as good as men. So I didn't know. I thought I was empowered walking away from that. Like I thought I was, strong, independent, and just like any man, I could do anything. And I didn't know until I had my daughter that I was carrying a lot of shame for being a girl. And obviously, holding a baby girl, it was like I didn't want to carry that forward. I had to break free because I didn't want her to have that.
And that's when the choice, like you were saying earlier, the choice to stop those generational curses or patterns or things that go through families, you made a choice right there to stop it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. And
Thank
it
you.
makes sense, like that you walked through all of that, that
Mhm.
you work with women on this level to really bring them into the light as well. I think that when we've been through something, we're better able to hold space for others. What do you think of that?
Yes, absolutely. I do think whatever, there's a lot of people I talk to who would not wish their past on themselves or anyone, but really it's such a blessing because it makes you aware of things that most people don't have an awareness of. And I think we do need in this world, like we do need an awareness of these things. Like we need to be sort of the torchbearers to
Yeah.
shed light on these things that are happening and make the world a better place.
Yeah. That's why women's voices coming together
Mhm.
in an event like this, it's more than just a bunch of speakers on an event. It's truly torchbearers, like women coming forward. What does women's spirit mean to you?
It's a beautiful expansion, like of women bringing together, like bringing their medicine and just allowing that ripple effect to go
Beautiful.
forward, to yeah, to just amplify our voices.
Yeah. Amplifying our voices with other women. What's something in your life, as you've walked through many things, what's something you're most proud of right now?
My daughters.
Oh, I
I have
love that.
two,
How old are they now?
15 and 17.
Oh, that is a perfect answer. What is it about them that makes you the most proud?
Well, I mean that they're teenagers, they're in their rebellious phases, but I think it's beautiful because like they're already um, feeling empowered to use their voices, like they haven't been stifled. So I
Yeah,
think I did a good job.
I think so too. That's really good. And knowing you have teenage daughters, what's something that you wish somebody had said to you when you were a teenager? Like, what's some words of wisdom you could, if you could reach back and give yourself some words of wisdom, what would it be?
I would say to trust your intuition, trust what is moving through you. Your perspective is like it matters, it's relevant, and don't worry too much about what other people think.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of that, you've got some really cool projects happening that you think things you're creating. Do you want to talk about the Brave Voice?
Yes, I'm doing a compilation book. I call it the Brave Voice Project. The theme right now is forgiveness,
Mm,
which is based on my first talk theme, but I'm helping women understand forgiveness, like what they've understood of forgiveness on their journey. So they're all different. We're all at different phases of understanding of what forgiveness means to us.
yeah.
And I think it would really help because I think forgiveness is one of the biggest barriers to seeing the truth, like to seeing our story, to seeing other people's stories.
Yeah. There's so much healing in forgiveness, and there's so many layers to understand, and it's also so beautifully simple. I'm so glad you're doing that project. So, do you want people to pop something in the comments, or do you have a gift you want?
Brave voice. Yeah, just type brave voice in the comments and I'll send you details of the project.
Beautiful. Brave Voice. Type in Brave Voice,
Yeah,
everyone.
and it's absolutely free. It's free to write with me and it's free to write, like to submit your chapter for the book. There's
What?
no cost to it. I know. I
That's
want to make it
crazy.
really accessible to women to share their stories. It's a great first step. If you've never written, if you don't have a book published, it's a great first step to that. And if you have published a book, I think it's just another way to extend your reach and
Yeah.
create a bigger ripple effect.
Nice. And even if you've never written before, this is a healing process and a healing journey. So, Brave Voice is what to write in the chat right now, everybody. Brave Voice. Do you have any other gift you want to give them as well, or are we sticking on Brave Voice?
I'm going to stick to brave voice,
A smart.
but reach out to me if you reach out to me if you need. I have what comes to mind is actually um, the threshold ritual, which is just a 5-minute recording. It's also free, but it's for standing on the edge when you're feeling that tightness and
I
you want
remember
to
you talking
turn.
about
Yes.
threshold moments last
So
time.
that is coming up. So I'm going to offer it. Just write threshold in the comments.
Yeah, Marie-Josee has a beautiful teaching and process around threshold because it is that step before
Mhm.
you break out of that goose sack and spread your wings, or before you write something that you've never
Yes,
shared with anybody. You're at a threshold moment, and it's a breakthrough.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a
Tell us,
joy.
okay, now that we're talking about threshold, because I love this topic so much. Tell everybody in your experience, what does that threshold mean? What is a threshold moment?
For me, the threshold moment is that point where you want to turn around and run, or where you have turned around and run in the past. So it's like the not this moment. Either it's something that's recurring, or like it's an emotion you don't want to face, or you know, the inner critic or whatever it is. There's some wall, there's something that usually you turn back. And my invitation is for you to just sit and breathe. And we had this conversation last year, but it's a 90-second process for your brain to rewire itself, that you see that it's safe. So if you just set a timer on your phone in that moment, connect to your breath, feel your feet flat on the floor, the weight of your seat, like just stay with that emotion.
Yeah.
It dissolves in 90 seconds.
There you
If you
go.
truly stay with it, like you can't be in your head. You can't be it's not a logical thing, right? Everything is stored in the body. So as long as if you have a hard time, I imagine an elevator ride. So if you're the monkey brain, the inner critic, whatever is going on, you just imagine being in an elevator and you go right down to your heart, and just imagine sitting in the middle of your heart, and just sit there for 90 seconds and feel the emotion. Just allow it to wash over you, to be there, to coexist, and it just dissolves. And then you're through it.
Yeah.
As long as you're running, you're gonna keep coming back to hitting it, because it's like a messenger. It's for your growth. It's
Yeah.
necessary. So if you're able and willing to just sit with it, it
Mhm.
will dissolve.
Put threshold in the comments, everybody. You're going to have
Threshold.
access to that because, and
Yes.
it's so true. If we can just stay with the feeling. Sometimes I'll even be aware if I've had a busy day or if something went on, but my day was too busy to even think or process something. And I'll feel it when I am going to do something. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do something to just not feel right now. So if I stop and pause
Yeah.
and just be with it, it seems to be a theme of some of the other speakers as well. It's just
Yes.
stop and be with what we're moving through for long
Mhm.
enough. And like you said, it'll move through us.
Yes.
Otherwise, it'll hang around for days and it'll turn into a whole thing or hang around for years.
Yes.
We're just able to
Because
be with
it's, yeah, it's carrying a message. It's carrying a message, and you need to go through it to receive it,
it.
to alter
Yeah.
whatever has been imprinted before.
Yeah.
So whatever, because whatever it is was true when it was embedded, but it's no longer true. Now it becomes a half truth. So the messenger is basically allowing you to remove that half truth so that you can be in alignment again.
Yeah. Stay with it, be in alignment again. Thank you for that. That's beautiful. I'm glad that we talked about that as well because that's a beautiful process. So threshold, and maybe some of you feel like you're at the threshold of actually healing and writing your story. Marie-Josee would be a perfect coach for you to take those next steps, everybody. So it was brave voice, right?
Brave voice.
Brave voice if you're ready
Yes.
to step into the next maybe this is the next baby step that feels okay, and she'll guide you through.
Yeah.
So, as we start to wrap up here, what are some final words of wisdom that you want to leave Women's Spirit Festival attendees with?
The trusting comes back to mind. Just trust where you are is perfect, and just trust what it is that wants to unfold. It's perfect.
Trust. Somebody write trust in the chat. Where you are is perfect. What's unfolding is perfect. Just be with it. Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for bringing the
Thank
Brave
you.
Voice Project to this community. I'm so
Thank
excited to
you.
have you back again. And this has been so, I always enjoy talking to you. You have such a calmness that you exude, and it's really sweet. Hey, one more thing. You held up that little card in the beginning. Do you want to share what that's all about?
So I wrote a children's story, and my husband is the illustrator, and this is the main character. And when I assigned him this project of illustrating my children's book, he said that the thing is about a main character is you have to be in love with it, because you have to draw it a lot. Like you have to draw in different poses throughout the book many times over, right? Many iteration of the same character. So you really have to be in love with it. So he said, is it okay if I draw a little you? So this is little MJ.
I love it. So like there's healing in that too because she gets
Yes.
to be the main character of the story. That's so sweet. That is really sweet. I like it so much. All
Yeah.
right, everybody, you're watching. Go to that little search bar that looks like a magnifying glass. Type in Marie-Josee. Her talks will come up, and also connect with her. Like send her a direct message. She will answer. That's the beautiful thing about Women's Spirit Festival. Is you can all be in touch with the speakers. So make sure that you send her a message. Follow her, friend request, and just be in touch with the speakers. Also, press that invite button, everybody. Invite some sisters and some friends. If you're like, hey, let's be brave voices together, invite them in here so that they can check out this talk as well. So, share this beautiful event and this beautiful community. Marie-Josee, thank you so much again for being here.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And thank you everybody for watching. Put some love in the comments, some gratitude in the comments right now. Put brave voice in the comments as well. And thank you all for
Definitely.
watching and being here and for being the best part of Women's Spirit Festival. See you in the next one, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.